Hey everybody, welcome back to Wicked Good Show. I'm Brian.
I'm Ben.
And Ben, we are covering Rick and Morty. We're finally back, the first time in 2020, which is insane because it's like halfway through 2020. Nothing interesting has happened while we've been gone.
Yeah, basically, 6 months of boring nothingness since the last time we've covered Rick and Morty here on the channel.
Yeah, so thank
So,
God Rick and Morty came back, so we finally have something to talk about.
yeah, I mean, it's just been such a dearth of interesting topics. So,
Yeah.
very glad that we get this very interesting episode to talk about.
Oh, interesting is an understatement. What is the name of this episode?
This is an episode called "Never Ricking Morty," so it's a classic
And what does that mean?
situation where yeah, it's a classic situation where they put Rick and Morty in and they make some kind of pun based off of some like pop culture reference, which apparently this is a reference to the Never-Ending Story. Definitely not as clear right from the jump as a lot of these other ones tend to be.
Hmm.
Uh, but
I don't think I
apparently that's the
ever would have
case.
guessed, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Never-Ending Story is also very meta and
Hmm.
very like kind of story within a story kind of feel to it, which this very much is. So I guess it makes sense.
What I think I texted you after I watched it today, and I was just like, "Well, that was a lot."
Yeah.
What did I say? What a trip of an episode! You said a trip on
Yeah.
the train.
Yep. I was going for the puns that Rick was also going for it in this episode. You know.
Yeah, you were on fuego, as Morty would have said.
Yeah. I'm on fuego for sure.
So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, what was your immediate reaction? I guess
my immediate
to
reaction was I need to watch this again before we record.
Yeah, I've only watched the episode once, so maybe that puts me at a disadvantage. But I read some stuff about it. I read some other people's takes to make sure that my opinion was fully tainted.
Right.
But actually, I'm pretty headstrong with my opinion in
Okay,
general,
good,
so
good.
it
'Cause I'm
shouldn't
not.
matter.
I'm not convinced I know what this episode was about, so hopefully you'll be able to help me out and anyone else in the audience who's like me. Because I will say I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was really funny. It was just like there's a lot going on.
Yeah, no, I think the plot for sure was very much a lot. It definitely moved around a lot. And but I think it's kind of a situation where it's similar to other recent episodes of the show, where they're kind of doing a meta commentary on just like Hollywood and like writing and like storytelling and like the mediums of like just like being a writer and stuff like that. So like they've made meta commentaries before on like the heist genre, and I think this is kind of a commentary on a few things. So there's like the commentary on like meta storytelling. There's the meta storytelling itself being a commentary on the writing process. There's the commentary on like anthology, like story narrative formatting. There's like a lot of kind of jabs at certain writing tropes throughout the episode. There's a reference to like the Bechdel test and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of meat to the episode, and I think it's very it's almost like self-deprecating in a way, where they're kind of poking fun at like the writing style of Rick and Morty, in a way that they previously poked fun at the like writing style of heist movies, for instance.
Yeah, so after watching it for a second time, like I said, I think I kind of came to rest that like the episode was about the creative process of Rick and Morty, in the sense that it always feels like they're moving forward through the train, which with each episode, season, whatever, but in the end, they're always on a loop of a track, and they have so many episodes that they can't really do anything because they have a ton of ordered now. that they can't really do anything so substantial to progress the plot. Like, there's that scene where they're like, Summer, I thought you were going to say 17 forever. And she was at least for 16 years, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you can't, and that's just the part of, like, cartoons in general. Like, you can't really progress it because everything needs a status quo. There was, you know, the shot at the story circle, which is the process Dan Harmon uses to write his scripts. Which is fun, and that was the circle that Rick broke out. And yeah, like you said, I thought it was just like just a episode about creating Rick and Morty and all the potential places they could go, and you know, the potential place where they wouldn't want to go, like the ending of this episode.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's also like a commentary on like the fan reaction and fan service with especially the like final scene where like it ended in them like praying to Jesus. But that scene leading up to that was very much like a commentary on like, this is what the fans want us to do, and this is like the end game that like everyone's expecting us to go to.
Right.
And like kind of being like feeling like you're trapped in that like loop of heading to that end game, the same way that like Rick and Morty were trapped on the wall.
Yeah, so I guess now that we've covered kind of the 500-foot view of the episode, do we want to try to go blow by blow for the plot, or is it just pointless considering?
I mean, so there's basically like 3 levels to the story. So there's the train, which is like the majority of what we see. And then there's outside of the train, which is where the narrative structure is breaking, and they're like sent into different timelines and realities that are fabricated. But then we also then find out that on top of that layer, the train itself is basically fabricated, and it's just a like a toy that Morty had bought, and there's like a kind of like a some cheap commentary about like capitalism. So
they definitely added
where do you want to start?
at the very last minute.
Yeah.
They even have a thing about the virus.
Yep.
God, I guess we can kind of just, so like it's set up as if, you know, Rick and Morty aren't in the episode at first, and then it turns out that they are, you know. I really liked the line where Morty's like, well, shouldn't you recognize me? You made the disguise. And he's like, I'm the best. Like, of course it worked, you know. I wouldn't recognize the disguise. I thought that was very fun and funny. But, God, where to even start with this? I guess...
I mean, okay, let's I think where the episode really kicks off, because like there's the setup and the like anthology scenes where we see the Rick disguise come in, talk to the guy at the bar, and he gives his little anthology story, and then we see the Morty disguise come in, walk in, and get like a couple of anthology stories with like the like Christmas story, and then also the story of like Rick dating the like ice woman. So do you want to talk about those any of those scenes before we jump into like the meat of the actual like plot of the episode? Any of those kind of any part of those 3 scenes really stand out?
I liked the line where he's like, I don't know who Rick is, and also I like reject your notion that everyone on this train is going to kill one person.
Which is a good setup for the audience, because that is like, before we find out that the character who's saying that is actually Rick, like that is like a notion that is reasonable to the audience, that there would be an entire train full of people going to kill Rick.
Oh, no doubt. I was fully like, okay, this is the episode. It's going to be an anthology episode.
Yep.
But no, we went over that. I did notice that one of Rick's ex-girlfriends was Yoda. on the second viewing, which is fun.
Okay, I must have missed that. Maybe I just kind of like glossed over it. It didn't really seem
She's in like the
particularly
back of the
notable to me.
bar. It might have been Yiddle, the female Yoda from the
Mhm.
prequels. Who's to say? But I thought that was fun. Rick,
I think
really
is
gets around.
Rick is canonically pansexual. I think, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We need to
So,
ask the creators online. Justin Orland had him ask.
yeah.
I also liked that Rick figured out it was Morty because Morty was playing with his disguise's boobs.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Pretty on brand.
Pretty on, man. I like going back to the meta commentary of Rick and Morty. I enjoyed the scene when she's the ice queen or whatever is telling her story, and
Mm-hmm.
there's just that other character like I'm the embodiment of space
Mm-hmm.
or like time or whatever he says. It's like, yeah, that's pretty like what if someone were to make fun of Rick and Morty, that would be a jab they could
Yep.
throw for sure.
Just like a random character that's like completely off the wall, like stupid sci-fi for
Yep.
no reason.
Right. What about you? Anything stand out about these scenes for you?
Nothing in particular. The Christmas room was very interesting. Like the idea that like there's an entire like collection of people who each have their own individual stories of Rick saving Christmas for them
Yeah.
is pretty ridiculous.
He just does what he just does what he does. Rick loves Christmas apparently.
Yeah, and that anthology scene was also very good with the awkward.
Yeah.
It's kind of a family thing.
Yeah.
It's very crowded. There's a lot of people in there.
That was so great.
You know how it is.
Have you seen the movie Snowpiercer?
I have. That was also
Yeah.
something that definitely seemed to be referenced during this episode a little bit with the concept of a train going around in a circle.
Yeah.
And trying to like go outside to get to the front.
Yep, and all the themed like carts and whatnot. I really like Snowpiercer. I just want to give that a shout out to anyone listening.
Great movie.
Snowpiercer, yeah, really good time. You won't be disappointed. In my opinion. I don't know. I think it's good.
But yeah, it's not a perfect movie. I think that there are a couple of issues with it, but I think overall it's like an 8 out of 10 movie.
Yeah, definitely. What else about these scenes? Oh yeah, so we're burying the lead. Cum gutters. Your opinion?
It's certainly a new one. I think that
Never heard that before.
that alone is like on its own inspiring me to try and get a six-pack just so I can go around calling it cum gutters.
It's called discipline. That's so great. I love to.
And I liked the. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying the whole like repetition of the people ripping their shirts off. It's just so good.
I was going to bring up the exact same thing in the callback at the very end, where the story lord also rips off his shirt, like holy shit, and then Jesus also later.
Yeah, it does like a complete zoom in on Jesus. It's like so ridiculous.
No, it's pretty fun, and just like Rick and Morty, it's just astonishment that every person that they're encountering is just fucking jacked.
Yep. I guess if we want to talk about that, so they kill the ticket taker.
Yep.
Pretty brutal.
And then we get basically bisect his body through the window. And then we get our first view into the outside world. What was it technical term were they using to describe the outside world?
Oh gosh, was
like
it
breaking
continuity?
There's the continuity,
yeah. Regardless, it was outside of like non-canon, maybe that's what they called it.
Sure. Yeah.
I know that one point when Morty goes out and dies, Rick's like, "Don't worry, everything out there is non-canon."
Yep. And also another kind of rip at the fans, like over analyzing Rick and Morty and trying to determine what actually matters, etc.
Yep.
Similar to what assholes like us are doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cottage industry on YouTube.
It is, yeah.
These are
I
some
mean,
of our
you
best
need a real
performing
high IQ
podcasts.
to,
So
yeah.
I think this show just speaks to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great show for that reason because, there are a lot of, like, kind of meta commentary aspects to it, but also it's just kind of a fun show to, like, if you just want to get high and watch it and, like, just laugh your ass off.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very wide spectrum of modes to enter, modes of operation to
Yeah.
get entertainment from.
Absolutely. Speaking of getting high, so the ticket taker gets bisected, and then he goes to a like time delineated alternate reality where
Yep.
he is forever spinning, floating, and spewing his blood all over the arcade.
Yeah, and and there's like an entire subculture that comes around him, which is like some combination of like conspiracy theory and like a shot at like the no fat movement or something. I don't know if that was the intent, but
Oh, I think it was.
we see this couple getting high on the couch together, and the guy is like talks about how he's part of this movement or group that thinks that if he sexually climaxes, then the universe will end.
And you know what? If any of the no fat movement were faced with this dilemma, they would also immediately cave like he did, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to take shots at the no fap incels, but definitely, I definitely think there's.
Well, lucky for you, Ben. I am here for that.
I just, I don't want to be. I guess I'm not going outside right now, so it's very unlikely for me to get like murdered by incels. But it's not really what I want in my headstone.
Right.
If I'm going to be picking fights with people who might kill me, I think I want it to be a little bit more exciting.
Clapped by the no fat movement. Damn.
Yeah. I don't want that in my fucking obituary.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, they start to make out, and the universe ends because Morty puts him out of his misery after shooting him another like 10 times before he actually kills him.
Yeah. I mean, his heart was in the right place.
Yeah. He just can't aim, apparently. And I liked the idea of like Rick putting a fail into the suits to progress the story along.
Yeah, no, definitely. Fun. And he mentions that in their plan as like a narrative device. This is where our suits will fail. Yeah. And he basically explained the entire rest of the episode right there in that room. Yeah.
So Morty has to tell stories. They're awful. So, some of the worst things ever. What do you think of that in the Bechdel test specifically?
Well, first of all, I liked that in all of Morty's stories, it was there was the common thread of killer scorpions attacking.
Oh, you need conflict,
I don't know if that's some kind of. That's true.
And
that's
what's more conflict than giant scorpions?
You know what? Yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head right now, so I think you got me on that.
You got giant scorpions, bam, you got a story.
Yeah. And, it's definitely very interesting. I'm not exactly sure what the shot is in terms of the Bechdel test. If they're, like, taking a shot at themselves for not, like, passing the Bechdel test because they have, like, both of the... like narratively focused main characters are men, if that's like the self-aggrandize or self-deprecating shot that they're trying to take there. But yeah. Morty's Bechdel test passing story is definitely very interesting.
Yes. I was like, since you were mailed to me by a female doctor, that in the I'm the lady politician judge, and you fucking did it.
Yep. Got a little Ruth Bader Ginsburg cameo.
Yep. Thoughts and prayers, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who is in the hospital. the other day.
Yep.
But I've heard she's recovering, so that's good.
Yeah, Jesus is looking out for her,
Yes, thank
as
God.
he is for all of us.
Oh man. So yeah, they get they finally encounter this. What is it? The story.
Story Lord, right?
Story Lord. Yes, thank you. And Rick has a great line where he's just like, "Oh, I should have known it was you behind this, and I did."
Yeah, he's what do you call him? Like oh man, some like something like some Frasier wannabe, something like that. What do you say? Oh my God, I should have written that down. That was a great line.
Yeah, it was like, oh God, I can't remember either. But yeah, it was basically like a mix between God and Frasier or something.
Yeah, and there was also the good line where he talks about how every destination needs a great journey, and Rick's like, "No, I teleport, so
Yeah.
that's not true."
Oh man, so a little bit more meta commentary here as he wrings all the story out of Rick and Morty to break. What was it? The fifth wall.
Yeah, the fifth wall, which I guess reference to the meta commentary that Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon kind of feel like pressed up against the necessity to keep on grinding out story after story for Rick and Morty, and they're they kind of feel like they're pinned up against the wall in terms of their storytelling capabilities.
And it ends with them turning the tables on Story Lord by taking a Deus Ex Machina of Jesus.
A literal Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. He's shirtless. He's hot. It's very hot.
Yeah.
He comes and he saves them.
The idea being that the best way to ruin a story is by injecting it with Christianity, I guess.
Yeah, definitely the best way to ruin it. I mean, Christianity, or more specifically, just like a complete out of left field cop out.
Sure, that's true.
Because as Morty says, some people are into that, and it feels like a cheap shot.
Yeah, and then the kind of, I guess, backhanded response to that being that Jesus came in and saved the day, and he looked hot when he was doing it as well.
Yeah,
so
he did. Very hot.
Even if the intent was that Jesus was saving the day by being a narrative drain, that's still a savior, right? Technically.
Right. He had the cummiest of gutters going on, and that's what really matters.
Yeah. No, I could see Story Lord filling those gutters.
Yeah. Not much else to do once the story's over in there,
Yeah.
So they win. Yep, they win, except they don't win. We find out it's all just a train that Morty bought Rick.
Yep.
And Rick has a mental breakdown.
Yeah, it's another situation where we kind of have a little bit of an ethical dilemma of playing with potentially artificially intelligent beings as entertainment.
Yeah, did you see the after credits scene, which is like the commercial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the entire episode was basically a commercial, right?
Right.
I want to buy one now.
Exactly. Yeah, like that thing is like, are they alive? Yes, but not in a way that matters. They're
Right.
puppets of fate. They have no soul. So messed up.
Well, aren't we all?
Right. Oh man. And so it breaks, and you just gotta keep buying. You gotta what did Rick call it? He looked consumerism right in his bloody mouth and said, "Yes, Daddy, more."
Yep.
Oh my God.
Daddy capitalism.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, just buy. Don't think. Just keep buying.
At the end of the day, capitalism is who has the best cum gutters.
Mm-hmm. That's why Jeff Bezos has been getting in such good shape. He knows what's up.
True.
That's why he's the richest man in the world, in the history of the world.
He's batting way above average too.
Yeah. So that is this episode of Rick and Morty. Ben, what final thoughts on it?
Final thoughts. Writing is hard.
Yes,
Rick and Morty
true.
fans are insatiable in terms of being liking episodes or being content with the quality of the content that's put out. And the creators are aware of that, and they're kind of giving us the middle finger in a little bit of a way here, saying, this shit's fucking hard.
Yeah, but you know what? We liked it. Thank you, Daddy, Justin, and Dan.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep coming back for more. We'll keep buying more episodes.
Yeah, we'll keep buying even if some of the past episodes have broken.
Yes, exactly.
Especially in this economy, we'll take what we can get.
Well, yeah, we have nothing else other than Rick and Morty. Oh man! All right, Ben. Where can we find you online?
You can find me on pretty much every platform at Ben Sharon. Maybe if I get enough followers on Instagram, I'll start getting ripped and I'll post photos of me and my new cum gutters.
Yeah, you won't want to fight him.
That's true.
Yeah, so
I'll be the final boss.
So that's great. Follow Ben on there. You can follow me on Twitter at @theFakeBMar. That's BMARR. You can follow me you can follow the channel on Twitter at WG Everything, on Instagram at Wicked Get Everything, on Twitch at twitch.tv/Wicked Everything, and on TikTok at just search Wicked Get Everything. I'm not really sure how TikTok works with that, but just search Wicked Get Everything. You'll find us. Make sure you listen to Better Radio, another one of our podcasts. Make sure you listen to the Sunnydale Review, and make sure you rate on iTunes, subscribe to this channel so we can get to 100 subscribers to get that custom URL, and subscribe to the main channel. And we will see you in the next one. Shout out Brian Wong. We did it.
Classic.
Yes. 2020, it's going to be our year. Everything's so
It's certainly not many people's year.
Right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you in the next one.